Hey guys!
Hi.
Today we wanted to start part one of a 4-part series in our experience giving birth abroad. And today we want to talk about why we chose to give birth abroad, and specifically why we chose Costa Rica to do it.
We briefly discussed some of this back in November in our big announcement video, but back then that was all kind of just a theory. Now that we've done it, we can speak more about it without fear of spreading bad information.
Let's jump right in. Why did we choose to give birth abroad? Well, it all started back in 2013 when we were planning our trip to Europe. And initially we were thinking about staying longer than 90 days, and we found that that's pretty much impossible with a US passport because the US doesn't allow visitors without fees and interviews and visas. That is sort of reciprocated around the world.
So that was when the seed was planted that we thought it would be cool if we could give our kids dual citizenship.
So when we first started our research, we wanted to give birth somewhere in Europe, but we found that that's not very easy either.
But there were a number of other reasons that we wanted to do this, so we didn't let that stop us.
One of the biggest reasons was we were unsatisfied with the American healthcare system. It's expensive, it's ambiguous, it's difficult, it's time-consuming.
So we are talking about cost here, but we want to make it very clear that it wasn't just about the money. But we will get to that in our final video. What it really came down to was being more about the quality of care and the personal attention. Because back home, if I just wanted to make or cancel an appointment at my doctor's office, I needed to leave a message. I couldn't talk to someone. Where here, Mike called the doctor on a Saturday morning and he answered his own phone. And that has been confirmed since arriving here. From beginning to end, we have received top-notch personal care. And even we were speaking with our pediatrician about it, whose children were actually born in the States, and she worked at the Children's Hospital in Miami, and she was saying that she didn't like working in the States because she didn't have the freedom to communicate with her patients the way that she does here. Where here, we have her cell phone number, and we can text her and send her pictures or ask questions as we have issues.
More than anything, this trip was about giving our son options, and as a side benefit, giving us options. And when we were initially researching, we think we found that if he was given full citizenship, that we would be given permanent residency here in Costa Rica. And we have since confirmed that yes, that is the case, and we've actually met with a lawyer, and all the paperwork is going through, and within 12 months, we will be given permanent residency here in Costa Rica. What are we gonna do with that? Who knows, maybe nothing, but it's an option that we have, and it's an even greater option for our son. So now let's talk about how we picked Costa Rica specifically, why of all the countries in the world we came here. Well, it turns out it was actually pretty easy to narrow it down because the country that we decided to give birth in had to meet 4 criteria. First, it had to allow citizenship by birth, and this is actually not a very long list of countries that allow it, 52 to be exact. Second, it had to allow dual citizenship. So some countries allow citizenship by birth, but only allow 1 passport at a time. Turns out this is a list of 33 countries. So we put those 2 lists together, and that further decreased our choices.
Third, it needed to be somewhere safe, comfortable, and close. We needed a place where our parents could easily fly down to meet us, and we knew that the hospital care would be the same or better than we would get in the United States.
So that ruled out Mexico or Colombia, because even though there might be safe areas there, we didn't feel 100% safe flying down to an area we had never seen before and kind of get stuck there with a pregnant wife.
And finally, it needed to be a place that we would want to live.
And basically this narrowed down our list to either Ecuador, Panama, or Costa Rica. And at that point, I just started researching all 3 and just found doors opening in Costa Rica. I think Panama may have been even a better choice based on cost and cost of living. It just seemed like in Costa Rica, things just went smoothly. Found a doctor, we found a hospital, we got prices, we found safe areas, we found blogs of people who had already done this. All signs just pointed to Costa Rica. So I think we've been happy with either of those 3 countries, but we're definitely happy with our decision because we've come here and we love it now.
And it's always been a running joke of Mike's that eventually we would own a scooter shop in Costa Rica. So
not kidding. I've said that for years.
Maybe it's coming true, who knows?
So what benefits does our son actually get having 2 passports? Is he able to travel Europe freely like we had wanted to? No, there are a couple of rules by having a Costa Rican passport that are kind of to his advantage. Where it actually helps a ton is in South America. So by having a Costa Rican passport, he can travel all of South America and Central America freely, visa-free, fee-free, whereas with a US passport, it actually can be kind of costly and time-consuming.
Here's a little map showing you the countries that he can visit freely with a US passport. and now with a Costa Rican passport. So that wraps up this video. In our next one, we want to talk about our expectations before leaving for Costa Rica and the reality of what happened.
We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.